So hello and welcome to our webinar today. It's very nice to see you all today on the webinar. The webinar will last 40 minutes, and which 30 minutes will be the webinar and 10 minutes we will spend for Q&A session. So please write your question in the chat and I will review them at the end of the webinar. So firstly, I introduce myself. My name is Anastasiia, I'm a director of employer brand agency UGEN, and I have 13 years experience in employer branding. Over this year, I have completed more than 75 employer branding projects, and today I'm very excited to share my expertise on the building an employer brand strategy with you during our webinar. So let's firstly, I introduce to you more information about UGEN like agency. 7 years ago, I founded UGEN, which is HR employer brand agency that focused on supporting HR professionals in employer branding projects. We focus on increasing, first of all, employer brand awareness. For instance, promoting companies in social media, for example, LinkedIn, Instagram, and also Facebook. Also, we assist companies in the development of internal employer brands, such as creating onboarding programs for new hires or learning and development strategy. Also, in addition to this, we help companies with internship and educational career projects for the younger generation. And we assist in the development of the value proposition and brand growth plan. So we develop employer value proposition and help company with employer brand strategies. So, in a conclusion about UGEN, we work together with the companies to overcome various HR challenges. And following this webinar, you will have the opportunity to book the free consultation. You will receive the link via email tomorrow. You will receive also the template of 1-year employer branding plan and also link to the free consultation. So please use it to get your consultation and know better us. So now you know more about me and also you know more about UGEN, but I want to know a bit more about you. Please take a moment to answer the short survey on what will be now on your screen. It will be 2 questions. So please, I want to ask you to assist me to turn on this survey. And now on your screen, you see 2 questions. Firstly, which part of Europe are you from? We see in the registration that you are from different countries and very interesting, where are you from? And secondly, what are your current HR challenges? Please share with us and we will see on the screen the results of the survey. So take a time, 20 seconds to answer the questionnaire. Directly on your screen, you see the results. So, as you see now on the screen, most of the attendees of our webinar is from Eastern and Western Europe. And also let's review what challenges you have now. And we see that on the first place, you have a challenge with cultural evaluation and also with EVP, and on the third place with reimagining well-being as a work practice. Interesting. So today I hope with my tips with creation the employer branding plan, it will help you with your challenges what you have now. So very interesting to know you, but let's go to our topics. Every day in the UGEN, we get many companies with different challenges. For example, the first real case what I want to share with you is a creating strategy to improve the brand awareness of the company British American Tobacco by increasing and improving their profile in the social media platform. And you on the slide, you can see the results of this case. It's increase the research of account, ERR, and the number of the followers. The second case, what I want to share with you, it was the redesign of the Instagram account of a company ProCredit Bank. By making a new Instagram, we also increase not only awareness of the company, but also got more responses on the vacancies. On the screen, you can see the results of this project and results of redesigning. The third task was to promote a case competition with the company Unilever, in which we achieved the following results: 647 registered. From these registered participants, we had 163 teams and 77 solved cases. And the last case, what I want to share with you is a case with the company Charles River, where we promoted one of their vacancies by conducting university and posting position in a social media. This project was quite successful because we received 125 applicants on the vacancy, on whom 63 were interviewed. So, I'm sure that all of participants today of the webinar are facing the same or similar challenges in their current project. But the first steps before we can solve these problems is to create the employer brand strategy. So let's start with our topic today, and we will know more about business process of employer brand strategy, how to create it, and at the end I will share with you the template of 1-year employer branding plan. So let's guide you through the business process of employer branding strategy. First of all, first steps of employer brand audit. First steps of employer branding strategy creating is to make brand audit. I will share with you some steps of brand audit. First of all, first steps needs to be the analysis of the external environment. And on these steps, you need to analyze your competitors, of course, but equally important, understanding of your potential candidates. We need insight into the social media habits, interests of your candidates, and also on demographic. And understanding why they choose a competitor over us, it's also critical. And conducting survey can provide us valuable insight into our target audience preference. The second step of brand audit, it's involved conducting internal employee survey. This step provides insight about our internal brand, and engagement survey can help us to measure, of course, employer satisfaction and identify any internal branding issue. So it's the second step. The next step, the third step, after analyzing our internal and also external audience, is to develop the target audience profile. In target audience profile, you can include the level of education of your target audience, what is the generation of your target audience, also the interest of your target audience, and the level of the skills of your target audience. And the last steps I'd like to present to you, it's the results of first 3 steps. And these steps is the company values and advantages. And the company values and advantages will be the first step to create employer value proposition. So let's go to the second steps of business process to create employer brand strategy. And the second step is to create employer value propositions. And I have for you some tips how to create employer value proposition and what not to forget when you create employer value proposition. So, first of all, you need to remember the basic steps before you start to create employer value proposition. Is to creating core values for the company. Core values need to be implemented in the employer value proposition and be in the line of all messages what you send to the target audience. The second tip, what I want to share with you, is to engage employees to create employer value propositions. Your employees, it's already the people who choose your company. So you, this target audience, to create your employer value proposition. You can conduct the focus group or survey, and it can help us to create unique employer value proposition and unique statements of employer value proposition. Also, you need to make statements of employer value proposition with the evidence. So use your employer value propositions with all your strategy, with all your steps, with all your projects in employer branding. And the last, my tips is to ask yourself the question. Very easy question, but this question can help you to understand if your employer value proposition really works. And this question is why is your employer value proposition is unique. You can, like employer brand manager, just print this question and put on your desk. And every day when you start every project, ask yourself this question. Before you go to some career event, ask yourself this question: why your employer brand employer value proposition is unique. So let's go next, and I want to share with you two examples of employer value proposition. It's two different examples. I like the example from the IT company Data Art because they visualize their employer value proposition by comics. By reading these comics, you can understand the corporate culture of this company and why it's attractable to work to this company. Another variant of employer brand proposition and another example is example of visualizing employer value proposition of one government organization, and you can see that it's totally different, but in this visualization you can go through these documents, through these steps, and you can understand. For example, you can understand information about reputation of the company, remuneration, experience of work, growth, and values of the company, and well-being. So every step is explaining to our employees and explaining also to our applicants what's about this company, why I need to apply on a position or why I need to stay with this company. So let's go to the next steps, to the third steps, and it steps to EVP approbation. This step is often overlooked by many companies. They forget to make this step and approbate employer value proposition before they start to implement it. So some tips about approbation, how it's to do and what's not to forget. We often develop employer value proposition and proceed without enough consideration, but it's critical to evaluate, and it is actually working and providing the desired results. So, therefore, to conduct a proper assessment of your employer value proposition, please use the focus group with your employees. Create some focus group also to involve external audience, and test your employer value statements if it's really work to your target audience. So also, you can help survey, and please, every time you need also to see the results. If you really get more the result what you can have from your employer value proposition, and if results not good, please come back and review your employer value proposition. Lately on the webinar, we also will talk about KPI, about how we can know what's the results of our employer value proposition. So let's go next, and let's go on our fourth step of employer brand plan. And moving to the next step, we go to our communicational strategy. Once we have defined our employer value proposition and analyzed our target audience, we must determine how to communicate effectively with them, how to communicate with our internal audience, but also how to communicate with external audience. So I guide you through the 6 steps what you need to make for your communicational strategy. First of all, the first steps what I want to present to you, it's who is your target audience. You need to know your target audience better to know to who you will communicate lately. The second step is communicational channel. You need to find communicational channel with which you will communicate. After we chosen the communicational channel, the third step is to create content what will be interesting to our target audience. For instance, if your target audience age is 18 and between 18 and 26, you should choose, for example, for social media communication, Instagram or TikTok. And if your target audience is maybe more older, then you need to choose LinkedIn or Facebook. And also think about what's interesting to this target audience, what you will put in your content on these channels. After we choose the content, we move to deciding how often we will communicate. Even if we talk about internal communication, about communication with our employees, we need to know how often we will send email, how often we will publish some posts on the intranet. So every pieces of content plan very important to us. The next step is to find ambassadors. And ambassadors can help us to create our content plan. These ambassadors, our employees, can be our employees who find interesting news to us and share with us. Also, we can conducting interviews with our ambassador, and also they can help us to promote us on the social media. The last steps, what I want to share with you is to creating your tone of voice with what you will communicate with your target audience. So let's go on the next steps. And next steps, 5 steps, is to involve visual branding. When we discuss about some brand of the company, we typically have a brand book. It includes logo and includes the colors, what we can use. But however, nobody talks about HR brand book. This is because employer brand, it's also the brand, but it's a brand for our employer. Therefore, I highly recommend to you creating a brand identity for your employer value proposition. This can include, the HR brand book can include colors, what you can use, slogan, what you use, communicational strategy templates, so templates for social media, templates for intranet. It can include also pictures and real photo of your employees, a real photo of your office environment, and also different ages and different cultures may react differently on various color, so important to analyze and include in HR brand book. Also depends on a difference of age of the group, depends on a difference of cultures of the group, what colors what you will use, what statement you will use, and also what visualization you will use to communicate with your target audience. And of course, my recommendation is to create some templates what you will use for publication on the social media. You can include it in your HR brand book. And let's talk about KPI. You remember I was told about that we will talk about KPIs and how we can know if our employer value proposition would work. So I believe that more than half of our work of HR, it's involve analysis, analyzing the data, understanding our audience, understanding our market, and understanding our results. In the favor of employer branding is critical to conducting and to assess our own performance and performance of our employer value proposition. So I want today to present you on a slide. You can see 12 employer branding metrics. I will not introduce all of them, but I will guide you today through the 4 important metrics that every employer brand manager should prioritize and remember. First metric is, of course, net promotion score. Net promotion score is original from the marketing. Marketing evaluate how customer want to recommend their company or their product. But for us, for HR, we can ask employee with one question: how likely are they to recommend the company as an employer? On scale from 1 till 10. I recommend to ask this question in a survey minimum once in a year. And good NPS should exceed minimum 20%. Also, of course, if it's more higher, it's even better. Additionally, you can also measure the net promotion score, not only from your employees and ask this question, you also can ask this question to your candidates. So after the complete of all steps of recruitment, you can send email with short one survey question, and you can ask them how your candidates, if they want to recommend you like employer. And it's also help us to know to process effectiveness of our recruitment process. Another critical metric is employer referral rate. As the market becomes more and more competitive, attracting new talents, I think you feel it, because become more challenging. And involving our employees as ambassadors who can refer to us the best candidates help us to streamline our recruitment process, reduce the cost, and also enhance the effectiveness of employer branding efforts. So employer referral rates is typically calculated as a percentage, which defines how likely are our employees to recommend us the good employer. It's help us to know how many referrals come to our vacancies, and from all candidates go through our recruitment process, how many percentage is referred by our employees. It's a good rate is 25%. The next metric, what I want to share with you, it's career page analytics. I think that everyone from you, every company now have career page, or on your website you have the in a structure career opportunities, but you need also to analyze and to assess various metrics for your career page. And this metric is such as website traffic, also the numbers of visitors navigating to the vacancy page, and also the clicks on specific vacancy, and how many individuals apply for the position what was advertised on career page. So by analyzing this analytics, we can evaluate if the content what we put on our career web page is really worked or we need to change it. And additionally, it's very critical not to forget about analyze candidate demographics. We need to know and need to know our demographic situation, and we need to know if our candidates from generation Alpha, from generation Z, for generation X, and having this information, we can analyze their motivation needs, and we also can analyze what we can propose to these candidates, what we need to include on our career website, what we need to include on the text when we publish the vacancy. So not to forget about these 4 important KPIs, but please review all 12 KPIs and decide what KPIs will be important for you and implement it to evaluate your employer value proposition. And of course, the last steps, but very important, it's implementing an employer brand strategy, integrated to the overall HR strategy. So not to forget, at the end, when you have already your employer branding strategy, you need to see if employer brand strategy is in the same line with onboarding process. Also check your recruitment process, and during recruitment process the language which you talk with your candidates, also your text of your job posting, what question you ask during the interview, what feedback you provide to your candidates. Not to forget to evaluate your motivation strategy, and the motivation plan also should include the communication strategy, which is a part of employer branding strategy. And learning and development or strategy also help us to promote our employer branding plan. So not to forget to include advantages of learning and development strategy to your employer brand plan. And I'm now guideline through the 1-year employer plan template. I want to remind you that we will share with you this 1-year employer brand plan through the email, what you will get tomorrow. So 1 second, I will open the Excel file. So in Excel file, what you will get tomorrow, you will see 2 pages. First page is employer brand strategy. So this is this real template include all information what I today share with you, but it's include every step, not to forget to make it when you will start with creation your employer brand strategy. So it's include brand audit, it's include creation of employer value proposition, it's inclusion steps to make communicational strategy, and also not to forget to review your HR strategy together with your new employer branding strategy. Here you can see the timeline. It's recommendational timeline, and you can see this timeline start from today, because I have one rule what I want to share with you. If you have some webinar or if you own some training, you need to implement the knowledge of this training maximum 3 days after the webinar or after training. So I recommend of each of you tomorrow open this template and start with creation your employer brand strategy, or review your employer brand strategy if you already have your strategy. Review if you not forget any of these steps. Also, it's very useful, this template, because you can change also the progress of every step and control the every step of finding your employer branding strategy. And the next template on the second page is employer branding plan. It's a template for 1 year. So after you create your employer brand strategy, you can come to create your employer branding plan for 1 year. And not stop firstly with a plan before you make your strategy. Not to forget to include in your employer brand plan such as activity like career events. You can plan in what career events, in what months you will attend. Also online presence, not to forget to plan your social media, your career websites where you will publish your vacancy, professional networks, of course, employer review sites. Also, plan to order your branding materials, what materials you will order. Also, employee engagement process based on your employee engagement survey. You can plan some projects. You can plan some survey when you will start with NPS survey, with engagement survey, with survey to know your internal audience. Also plan your promotion of referral program that more employee refer candidates. Plan also your career websites, to review your career websites, to update career websites. Plan your advocacy program, find your ambassadors through your employees and the people who can promote you in the social media. Also plan your recruitment marketing, plan your onboarding process and how you implement employer brand strategy in onboarding process. Plan your corporate events, not to forget to include your KPIs and analytics, and plan if you analyze it monthly or quarterly. And of course, not to forget about employer brand book, what design of templates, what you want to make in what period. So I come back to my presentation. And to conclude, you will receive 1 year employer branding plan template tomorrow in email. And you can try implement all knowledge from today's webinar in your practice. And if you will have any question while creating your own 1 year employer branding plan, please feel free to reach out to us and to book the consultation, free consultation, and we will help you with creating this 1 year employer branding plan. And now it's time to Q&A session. And I look on your question and answer on your question. So please use our chat in a Zoom meeting, and I will be able to answer of any your question what you will have now. So let's now review your question. I will go to the chat to review the question. Please write any question what you will have. And of course, let's stay connected. Let's stay in touch. Now on my slide, you see QR code. You can scan this QR code and it will redirect you to our LinkedIn page. Let's stay connected. We plan next webinars. We also published on LinkedIn our cases, our recommendation. So we would like to stay in touch with you and share more information with you. So let's review all the question what you have now in the chat. I will stop the sharing the screen that I can open the chat and review your question. Yeah, okay. So first question is, do we use AI tools in the employer brand strategy business process? And if so, which specific tools do you use? Yeah, of course, now it's number one topic about AI, how we can use it. So, of course, employer brand specialists now need to know how to use AI and how to implement it. First of all, let's go through the steps. In the steps with analysis, you can use, for example, ChatGPT to ask more information about your competitors and also find what ChatGPT can create about you, what's advantages to work in your company. Also, you can use ChatGPT to create some templates of the post for social media, and also you can use another AI tool to create employer value, employer HR book visualization and use it to make some interesting posts. So please, AI help us to with our time management, because we have a lot of projects in HR and AI can just help us with our time. Let's go to next question. How do you handle rotate issues like toxic work culture? So I would recommend you, if you feel that you have toxic work culture, first of all, survey, engagement survey, the part of engagement survey can help us to understand why we have this toxic work culture. I would recommend to ask in engagement survey the part about how managers coordinate and how managers, what's the leadership style of the management, what is communicational strategy, and also ask people about the work environment, what work environment they have now, more detailed information, what's for employee the toxic work culture. And then based on this survey, of course, you can work if people feel toxic work culture because of less communication or because the communication not in a good way for top manager, then you, like employer brand manager, need in employer brand strategy to put some projects about communicational projects with employee. If it's a toxic culture because of leadership style, you can work with learning and development strategy, and you can also work with some team buildings together with your employees. Let's go to the next question. Yes, it will be possible to get the recording. We will send tomorrow an email, not only the template, but also link to the recording so you can review or share with your colleagues. Please feel free. Yes, go to next question. Do you know the example of failed HR brand strategy and why it's happened so? Of course, I know, but I don't want to say some name of the company, but mostly the failed HR brand strategy happened when we don't know our target audience, because the strategy needs to base on good analysis, and good understanding of needs of our target audience. Very often, HR brand strategy start with HR team sit together and decide what we will do to make better, to be the best, to be the better than our competitors, yeah, to make more beautiful picture, to be more presented on career events. But firstly, we need to think not what we want, what wants our target audience. So we need to analyze target audience to know it better. And also the big mistake is only if employer brand strategy decided and also employer value proposition decided by top management. It's must to involve our employees to create employer value proposition and employer brands, and based on this create employer brand strategy. Because only our employees, it's our target audience, they can say why they choose this company, what they feel, why this company is important and why this company is unique, what statements is unique. Only our employees can help us. It's why involved them. Let's go to the next questions. Is there a company you would recommend as the best practice for employer branding? Or I can say you can review some. I will not say some like top 5 companies. I would like to recommend you to review some survey. For example, survey of a company Universal. Also, we like agency, we published once in year results of our survey when we ask target audience to ask what the company more attractive to you, like employees. So review such as a survey. Also company Ernst & Young, EY also published it. Just review what companies in the top 10 of the list, and then review what statements of employer branding they post, what career, review the career website, review the social media, and review how they promote their employer branding to analyze why they are in the top 10. But from my part, if I will put some company now to you on the first, some another company will think, why you not recommend us? So just review some analysis and results of some survey what official publishing. What are the first steps you recommend for the company growing from 50 to 150 employees in 6 months? Oh, first of all, if you, I will recommend to you to find your values, because the values is the basic for the creation, the strategy of the company, but also the basic to create employer value proposition. And if the company grows so fast, I will recommend you to build now the clear business, business processes, all business processes in HR. Clear business process, how we recruit the people, how we promote the people, how we motivate the people, how these people can be taught and get new skills, new development possibilities, and also communication. It's number one when we grow so fast, because we were small company and in 6 months you become 150, so you doubled you more than doubled your employees. So you need to know how to communicate with your employees and how to build communication between the departments. So very important on this stage is business processes of HR and also communication, to build internal communication between department, between all employees. review. Do you need to adapt your employer branding to different generation on how to not forget someone? Yeah, of course, you need to adapt in your employer, like I told, in your employer value proposition, you need to think with what is your target audience and to analyze what generation is your target audience. For example, is it generation alpha? Yes, they burn like a generation with internet and with possibility to search everything online. Yeah, and different generation have different motivators. So of course you need to adapt even visual and even text depend to what target audience you proposed and you promote your company, promote your vacancies. Could you please suggest some fun exercise, workshop activities to actually determine what's make the EVP unique? Yes, of course. The best and my lovely exercise is it's a workshop word cafe. So word cafe methods, and when you can divide your group of employees in a maximum 5 groups. In every group have one table, and on this table they have one question to discuss. For example, it can be question about your target audience. The next table can be about employer value statement. The next table it can be analyze our competitors, or every table can be one advantages why people can choose our company. And on every table, we have one question to discuss. For discuss question, we have 15 minutes. And after 15 minutes, moderator stop and people change the table. So during all workshop, these groups will go through all these topics, all 5 topics, what we want to discuss. And on every table, we have moderator who help us to write all ideas what participants of workshop can give to us. You also can discuss the results of engagement survey, for example, and the problems what you find of in engagement survey, and ask employees to come to you with proposal. And after people change these 5 tables, they come back on the first table, and they have time like 20-30 minutes to evaluate all ideas what every group created when they come on this table. And at the end, every group present to us the ideas, the best ideas, and you can use these best ideas to create your EVP, to create your employer brand strategy, to create your plan of projects for employer branding. So it's like my recommendation. Oh, thank you, Jana, for recommendation of IE tools that you recommend what you can use. Yes. So I think I answered for all your questions. So I want to thank you for all of you who today connected and was together with me on this webinar. For me, it was very interesting to share with you my knowledge. And please be free to stay connected with us, to book the consultation where we can talk more about your employer value proposition, about your employer branding plan. And I wish you the best in your HR career, and with finding your unique employer value proposition and be #1 company to your target audience. Thank you all for today for the webinar. Let's stay in touch and see you on the next webinar. And thank you for all of your messages with thank you in the chat. It was nice to talk to you and to communicate and share my experience. Thank you all. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.